Karen's obsession had reached a point where logic and legality seemed irrelevant to her. One day, the HOA dispatched Phony officers to invade and attempt to ruin my lodge. It was the kind of dramatic escalation I had come to expect, but what made this incident particularly risky was the sheer audacity of sending individuals posing as law enforcement. In her mind, she believed that appearances alone granted authority, but she underestimated both my preparation and my awareness. As soon as the Phony officers arrived, I was already aware of their approach. The property perimeter was secured, surveillance in place, and my tactical team, carefully organized and legally authorized, was positioned strategically around the lodge. This was not a response born of aggression but of foresight. I had anticipated that Karen's obsession would escalate to impersonation and potential trespass. The intruders approached confidently, waving badges and paperwork, asserting that they were acting on HOA authority. I met them calmly at the entrance. "I understand your intentions," I said, "but your actions constitute unauthorized entry, impersonation, and trespass. You are on private property, and any attempt to proceed will be met with lawful intervention." Their confidence faltered as they realized I was neither intimidated nor unprepared. At that moment, my tactical squad, positioned strategically within and around the lodge, revealed themselves. They were fully authorized, trained, and legally recognized to respond to unauthorized intrusion. The FO officers froze, realizing they were not in control. I calmly informed them that law enforcement leadership was already present inside, ensuring the property's security and reinforcing the boundaries that Karen repeatedly attempted to breach. Karen, meanwhile, arrived on the scene, frantic and shouting instructions. She insisted that the lodge be opened and that the Phony officers be allowed to conduct inspections. Her voice carried urgency, but it was clear that panic and frustration were beginning to replace the arrogance she typically displayed. She had anticipated compliance, but instead encountered organization, authority, and readiness at every level. I explained to the arriving responders and officers the full situation: the HOA's actions, the presence of unauthorized individuals, and my documented rights to protect the lodge. Every document, permit, and procedural authorization was in order, leaving Karen's claims and actions nullified. The FO officers, confronted by authority and legality, quickly retreated, realizing the risk of continued trespass. Karen, flustered and humiliated, attempted to plead, arguing that she was acting on community interest. But the officers and my team ignored her theatrics. Her reliance on coercion, false authority, and dramatics had failed once again. Every attempt to assert control without legal grounding had been anticipated and neutralized. The incident reinforced an important principle. Karen's obsession was predictable, and predictability allowed for precise, preemptive action. Each escalation, each emergency call, each attempt at intrusion could be documented and countered with preparation, legal knowledge, and strategic deployment. Her theatrics, once intimidating to the unprepared, now served only to highlight her misjudgment and entitlement. By the end of the encounter, the lodge remained secure, fully documented, and untarnished. Karen had been publicly exposed for her reckless escalation, and the HOA's overreach had been firmly neutralized. The neighborhood, increasingly aware of her repeated failures, began to see a consistent pattern. While she attempted to manipulate, intimidate, and assert authority, those prepared with legal knowledge, strategy, and foresight remained untouchable. As I surveyed the lodge and the surrounding grounds, I realized that this confrontation had been more than a defensive maneuver. It was a demonstration of how anticipation, calm decisiveness, and lawful preparation could neutralize even the most audacious attempts at manipulation. Karen would undoubtedly continue her obsession, but each failed attempt now strengthened both my position and the legal foundation protecting my property.